In a land far, far away, where production errors were commonplace and student radio was rife, crusaders came and brought quality comedy to Nerve Media. This is their story.
This is Bournemouth Student Radio. Nerve.
Hello, this is Afternoon Delight, the comedy chat show done by myself, Simon Schneider, and my co-host, Jack Martin Jones.
Hello.
Okay, so, like I said, comedy chat show. Oh, we've got the buzzing. Okay, the buzzing has stopped. It's okay now. Like, there's none of that horrible feedback.
There are no bees in this room right now.
No, not until...
Bee news.
Yes. Okay, so, just before we start proceedings, the umbrella subject for today, our show always has an umbrella subject, is...
Okay, you keep doing that.
The umbrella subject for today is... The umbrella subject for today is... patience.
Yeah, let's do that.
Patience is our umbrella subject, okay? So, the idea of waiting, the idea of savouring a moment, and the idea of sort of...
or just dealing with something.
Yeah.
Like our show.
Okay. And what people have to look forward to today is recurring features, Your Country, where I put Jack in charge of a country, but we might switch things up today.
Ooh.
And on top of that, there's also B News and Word of the Week, which will be done by me today as opposed to Joanne.
Did she give you a word this week?
No, but I've got one.
Okay.
I've got one in anticipation. And we'll also be doing Agony On, where people get to sort of voice their concerns and voice their problems to our resident agony aunt, Jack Martin Jones.
Hello.
And he seeks to help them.
Oh,
and by all means, tweet in some of your concerns on @NerveRadio, or find us on Facebook, Nerve Radio, to, apply to the agony aunt. Or you can text into the studio on 077 66404142. What's that number, Jack?
077 66404142.
Okay, and that's the number you called in. Before we move on to our features, there's going to be a bit of an interruption. I have a public announcement I'd quite like to make.
Yeah, you've been talking about it.
Yeah, this is something an issue I'd like to address.
Okay.
So, last show, if you remember, Jack,
no, I was very drunk.
I talked about a nightmare I had, and in that in that nightmare,
where you accepted death, basically. In
that nightmare, what basically happened is that I heard this news of the false widow spiders. So that's quite a big thing at the minute. False widow spiders have been overpopulated in Britain, and they're not poisonous. They don't hurt people, but we've just got a couple of them mulling around. I sort of was a bit misled by it and thought I could get hurt, and I've got a thing with spiders. So I had a nightmare where I was attacked by one of these, and then I got up, and I was so hazy and sort of asleep, I assumed that I had been bitten, and I came to terms with death. And instead of getting up and seeking help in that hazy state, I felt, this is as good a time as ever, I might as well go back to sleep. So this is linking from that. And my public announcement is about the false widow. Okay? And how people need to start relaxing. Because not many people know about the false widow, but it's never killed anyone in Britain. It's actually quite sort of unaggressive. What will happen is that the males have never been sort of reported to bite and harm someone like permanently, and females will only attack when aggravated. And everyone's going mad about them and thinking every spider in their house is a false widow.
Surely it's in the name.
Well, exactly.
False widow.
You'd think that there's
Simon.
tons of people. Look, I looked this stuff up, and that's why I'm making this public announcement. People have been going berserk and killing all these spiders in their home, saying, there's false widows about, we better protect ourselves, and we're all going to be in a horrible situation.
Sadly, the human reaction to anything dangerous is kill.
Yes,
and actually genocide.
And actually, they haven't been. You haven't been hurting any. Or this is why it's the false widows. People don't know what the false widow is. They've been just butchering normal and sort of spraying insecticide all about their house, hurting normal spiders in an attempt to protect themselves.
Wow.
So my message today, this public announcement, long-winded as it is, calm down, everyone, okay? You don't need to worry about a spider that can't harm you.
Because we know most of our viewership is
Arachnophobia.
Suffer from arachnophobia.
Or even that.
love bees.
Who will listen, this is...
Spread the message.
Yeah. There's much worse things to worry about.
Yeah.
Like,
stop going to
leaky
zoos
pipes.
and killing the spider exhibits.
Burning down zoos. But, like... Leaky pipes. You should be worrying about that more than the spiders. Untrimmed hedges. Worry about that more than the spiders. There's almost no threat to the false widow, and there is no threat to the false widow, which does, these are all the spiders that
Surely
people
that's a double
attack.
negative. If it's a false widow, then it's a widow.
No, it
And
just
then
means
it's dangerous.
it just means it's not a false widow. So it could be a widow. It just means it's not a false widow. So it could be dangerous, but it's not
Every
the
time
sort
I
of
think
dangerous
of false widow, I just think of a woman who's lost their husband.
or lied about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
God.
Anyway, public announcement over.
Wonderful.
Umbrella topic of the day: patience, and now on
Play
to regular
patience
proceedings.
to your spiders.
Regular proceedings. Do you want to play your country, Jack?
Yeah, okay.
Because we've
Well,
gotten used to it now.
yeah.
Let's spice it up.
Okay, I'll be the host.
You
then
want
this
to
time.
host
I'll do it
your
this time because
country.
I've done it the last 2 times because people just keep not coming.
Well, I'm
So
busyness.
yeah, so I'll be the host. Your country is essentially, I give Simon a country to run, and he gives a name to it, and he has an objective for this country, and I give him hurdles to deal with for it. It's kind of like D&D in his words, but there's no dice. So
Are you doing a really horrible impression of me?
No, I'm just doing like a weird
radio voice.
game show voice.
Yeah. Okay.
So Simon, your country.
Tell me where I am.
Yeah. Oh, I don't forget. Like
You're already a better host.
I'm gonna make sure you know actually where you are because
well, that would be very nice of you.
let's say Central America,
Central America.
like where Mexico is.
Okay. I
Around
can
there.
deal.
There's lots of little countries there.
I can deal with Central America.
You're nearly as big as Mexico. Somehow
Oh.
Central America got like an extra bit.
Okay. Yeah, I can deal.
Firstly, what's the name of your country, Simon?
My country will be called... You see, I'm thinking I could go for a whole sort of... and I don't like to play to stereotypes, but this terrain, very similar to Mexico, is very good for sort of potentially illegal substance. Potentially an underworld, a criminal underworld.
Yep. Yes.
So I'm tempted to call
Are
it...
you basing your country on illegal activities?
Maybe. I'm tempted to call it Evil, Horrible, Nasty Land or something.
That's a bit of a mouthful.
Yeah. So what's
At
an
the
anagram?
UN, at the UN, it's like, and evil, horrible, nasty land is coming here to talk about the
Okay.
climate.
I'm not going to call it Evil, Horrible, Nasty Land, but it's instead
Evil,
going to be an
horrible, nasty
initialism of it. So it's going to be Echnal. Echnal.
Okay, is that
So Echnal is in Central America,
okay?
and it's going to be this sort of dark, horrible. The back end of the world.
Dingy, horrible
The
place
back
to
end
live.
of the world
Why
is-
would anyone want to live there?
Well, because money can be made in Echnal.
Okay.
Money can be made in Echnal, and it's like a hub of evil wrongdoers
So
and
what's
horrible
the objective
people.
of this country?
I think our objective is to eventually.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, what would a horrible, evil sort of underworld, underbelly of community want?
That's a difficult one because I'm not really part of that anymore.
We want to be the number one drug empire in the number one empire. By the way, the Afternoon Delight,
We
Subu,
do not condone
yeah,
drugs.
Afternoon Delight, Subu, and Nerve Media don't condone any nasty stuff. This is a game, and in this game, my goal is to It's to
You want
because
to be the
you've
number
got-
one drug empire.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
want
You've got
to have
so
the
many
stuff.
sort of.
Do you do all drugs, or are you doing just one drug?
I'd say our main export is.
Yeah.
Especially, so this is like
Yeah.
our own. The plant exclusive.
You're making your own drug.
Well, no, the plant's exclusive to Echnol.
Okay.
And it's like. It's called the cocoa tree because it drives you cocoa.
Okay.
Or the loco? I don't know.
Is that how you get by other countries not knowing it's a drug by saying we just grow cocoa trees?
Yeah, I like it. Okay, it's the cocoa tree, and
Okay.
when people on it, they go cocoa.
All right.
And the cocoa tree
Mhm.
is how we make
Your drugs.
Zippy.
Zippy.
Zippy is the
It goes
name
from cocoa
to
to
Zippy. Yeah, that's
Okay.
a perfectly
It's a new
reasonable
drug.
slug term.
New drug.
Slug terms, slang term.
New drug on the market. Zippy.
Yeah, and because you've got all these other.
How do you take it?
It's you have to rub it in your hair. It's like hair gel.
What? Okay.
And at airports, what they do is they sniff your hair, or they have sniffer dogs for hair. And
Okay.
when people want to hide it, they find they try and grow hair in unusual places and like keep it there.
Ew.
This is the horrible underbelly of Echnol.
Ew.
Um,
Okay, so this is what you want.
Yes.
Okay. Fine.
And okay, so just to make my objective make more sense, you've got all these other capitals in the world which like export horrible stuff, and you've got like underworlds and
Yeah, yeah,
underbellies
yeah.
of all these different countries. I want to make Echdal the jewel of that. I want to make it the place to go, essentially
like
beyond the law.
So like how Paris is supposed to be the jewel of art,
Yes.
you want Ecknell's capital to be the jewel of drugs.
Yes, it's its own jewel.
Okay, well, I guess the
But
first...
not just jewel of drugs. I think Zippy is our foothold, right?
Okay.
However, it's just crime in general. Just
crime.
Like,
Every crime in the world.
it's a crime underworld. It's like
Is
you
there
know,
no crime this country does not condone?
Um.
Be very careful here.
Okay. Here's the government. Here's the government, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So petty crimes we usually get by because it's sort of a fish eat fish world in Ethanol,
yeah.
right?
The strongest
people yeah,
survives.
people steal to get by, and it's really difficult. But the best thieves and the best horrible people live in Ethanol.
Yeah.
But because there's such a sort of hierarchy and a brotherhood, the worse crimes you want to commit, the more you have to pay to the government. So it's kind of like a tax, and then we let it slip under the rug. So really, really horrible stuff it can be a really big benefit.
Okay.
And if you sort of do it without the government's permission, then everyone will turn on you. You'll essentially be
Social
a criminal.
suicide, basically.
You'll be no one will deal with you. People will hunt you, and there's like bounties and all kinds of things. It's a real dark, horrible, dingy underworld.
It's a very inventive country you've made here.
I like it.
It's basically an anarchy country, which.
But at the top of it is a government, a brotherhood.
Probably the most
Everyone's-
corrupt government in the world.
Well, technically they're
Arguably.
not. Technically they're not. Technically they're not corrupt because everything's above board.
Yeah.
If you pay to do it, you're allowed.
Technically, it's not corrupt because it's part of the constitution.
But everyone in our country who's part of the government, high up, they go through strenuous lengths to keep their
Yeah.
identity and everything hidden, so
Okay.
that they're almost untouchable. And even if you did find out who they were, that would essentially be the end of you.
Okay, so I appreciate this very inventive country.
That's Echnel, everyone.
Echnel. I guess the first
God,
issue.
we're 20 minutes in. Sorry.
That's fine. Yeah, well, we did overrun into this, by the way.
Yeah.
So, I guess the biggest issue for at the moment is that how would you actually hide this? Because the UN, countries aren't going to be cool with all these horrible crimes happening to other people.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of crime in the world.
Well, we obviously get a lot of sort of snoops and sleuths coming in trying to sort of crack the government and try and sort of put a spear in the side of Echnel.
Mm-hmm.
However, because we have such a sort of tight essentially, it's a barren land. According to the UN and according to everyone, it doesn't have law and it doesn't have a government. But there is a hierarchy there, and there is there are people in charge.
Okay.
It's like the whole piracy thing. Technically, they can't stop it because they don't have the prison. They don't have the prison space. Everyone would go to jail. This is a country of criminals.
Well, in response to that, superheroes become a thing.
Okay.
Like rich people.
Okay, they build suits.
They just build suits, and they start fighting the crime that you've created in this country.
Okay.
Because
so
it's
who in
corrupt.
particular? Tell me about the superheroes. that are attacking.
Owlman.
Owlman. What's he?
He's like an owl.
Is it just the one guy, or there's several?
There's several.
Okay. And they've
Do
all...
I have to name like
No.
the Vengeance League?
This is the reason I'm asking this is because it's part of my retort. So they've all because I don't think unless you want it to go that way.
Where there is bad, there is always going to be good.
Yes.
An
Yin
underbelly
Yang
of
duality,
good.
Nietzsche. Happy birthday, Nietzsche, by the way.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Frederick. Okay, so. But we're not going to sort of move into an area where they have superpowers. They're just really rich.
Yeah, the rich people who have a lot of resources.
Yes.
To stop
okay,
stuff.
but they don't shoot laser beams out
No,
their
no,
eyes
no, no,
unless
no,
they've
no.
developed
No.
Okay.
No.
That was a bit nerdy, but still, have to clear these things up. All right. Now.
How do you deal with these people?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do, and I'm also going to think about expanding the empire.
So now you're going to do invasion.
Well, not necessarily invasion. It's however I can do it.
Okay.
All right, Zippy's on the growth. Zippy is an exponentially brilliant product.
Yeah, and people are now catching on to Zippy.
And what we do to sort of get Zippy into the sort of minds and hearts of the people.
Yeah.
Minds and hearts and the hair. We basically, all right, yeah. We organise it so people who have Zippy get caught at airports and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This is an organised procedure, and it goes public. We stimulate the media to be talking about this mad new substance that's got everyone crazy that they've just discovered randomly in some airport thingies and all of that. So we've intentionally gotten the word of Zippy out there. So there's coverage now.
Yeah.
In terms of the superheroes, they pay money for their powers, and if they pay money, that means they've got an economical mind. And my sort of super government take advantage of this. And where there's superheroes, there's super villains.
Oh.
And we convince
villains.
some of them to turn to our side. We tell them, sure, the honour and the money's good in protecting crime. However, evil is such a malleable term, and who can say what's good and bad these days?
Mm-hmm.
If you lend yourself to us, we can give you utmost loyalty, and you'll be part of us, and you'll be part of a community that at the end of the day, technically, just wants to make people happy. By the way, need to stress, this is a game. This isn't in any way
you're just
suggesting
arguing the
our
anarchist
views.
lifestyle.
Yeah, and we've been doing it for years at Echnil, so we're quite good at it. And we convince a couple of your guys to come over and become super villains. And also, there's conflict with there would be conflict with the superheroes because one's going to be richer than the other. One's going to want one thing. Like, there's no single definition of good. What some of them are going to think, I want this to happen, and the other one's going to think, no, we should be more extreme. I'm taking advantage of their potential conflict.
Okay.
And all the while, Zippy's on the rise.
Okay. Well, a new study has been made, essentially, or something new comes into the works, that Zippy actually creates hair loss. So after a while of using Zippy, you just lose your hair.
Okay.
So, firstly, that damages how you're going to be able to deal it if people are just using their hair to send it around, because then they have no hair to actually carry it around.
Okay.
And secondly, this also makes some people not want to take Zippy, simply because, hey, I'm losing my hair.
That makes perfect sense.
And you find out the way this is done, not because it's Zippy itself, but other criminal cartels throughout the world
have been
mixing it with other stuff, and they're in your own country also mixing it. because they want to get an extra buck.
And technically, that's not illegal in ethanol because
Yeah.
it's a money country.
So they're doing a normal thing
Yeah.
that you can't really
I've got to find a
punish.
way around it.
You have to find a way to punish them without making it seem like you're contradicting yourself.
Well, ethanol is about brotherhood. Are you
Yeah.
finished?
Yeah.
Is about brotherhood and loyalty. So punishing, whilst sometimes comes into effect, it's not a big deal. So what we do, so people are going bold, and also it's getting harder to, actually use Zippy. As mentioned before, we are swimming in cash, right? That's one of the benefits of being a super evil super evil government. We are swimming in the money. So we've got money for scientists, and we've got money for people to make Zippy better and improve the product. Because currently, we're just sort of picking it off trees and crushing it. So scientists develop ways so that it can be evil scientists, because they're joined to us, so that actually doesn't need to be rubbed in the hair. Or if it does, it's actually the sort of follicles as opposed to the hair. And there's all different. It becomes a more multi-use product, and actually there's different ways. Second of all, about the whole thing, I don't want to get bold. Of course not. Like, I'm going to stop this right away. What we do is, because we've got this media bowl rolling, we sort of, and we've got also the supervillains. We develop some, like in our city, the best thieves or the best sort of substance lords, right? We develop images for them. We get their names all over the internet and all over the world, and we make them big deals, and people start sort of aspiring to them. People are like, oh, they're kind of cool. And then I get them to shave all their hair and influence a fashion trend to be bald. So people are now thinking, well, if my hero's doing it and doesn't mind having a skinned head, screw it, I'll go back to Zippy.
Wow.
Ah.
Okay.
So that's the plan.
What about the
what
bad
about
people that have been
well,
ruining your
all
drug?
they're doing is cutting it. They're
Yeah.
still spreading Zippy, and I'm not fussed if they cut it, because it's still getting the product out there. And if it takes their hair, I've got that problem sorted. If that's the only side effect.
Okay.
And to sort of get Zippy out there more, we've got this whole icon thing going on. Kids' heroes are doing it, so yeah, might as well follow in those steps. So
Okay.
we're getting to the youth, we're getting to the next generation. It's now global. Like,
Okay.
it's global, and I'd say in some countries it's worse than others, but it's present globally.
Okay, fine. Well, I guess we should put on a song
Yeah, let's
right
put
now.
on a song. So
And we'll finish off
We'll continue
just
this
after the song.
dark country after the song. By the way, everyone, it's my favourite, so don't worry. It'll cheer you up. Count on Me, Chasing Status, featuring Moko, M-O-K-O, Moko, Mocha, Coffee, Yum Yum. See you soon.
I don't like coffee.
And we're back. Afternoon Delight. Okay, so last we left off,
It
you're
was
the
your
host at the
country,
minute. You can
and
go
I'm the
for it.
host for this. And during the break, I've thought of some things to finish this off, I guess.
Oh.
The first issue. Firstly, would you rather to deal with each issue one at a time, or all three?
Yeah, go for all three, and I'll see if I can
Okay.
find some synergy.
Due to you not actually sorting out that cutting business,
Oh.
it's gone really bad where they start cutting with things, and let's say 50% of people who now take Zippy die.
Oh.
Because of just, they're just pulling corners. Like, there's like 1% Zippy in a Zippy
Okay.
capsule.
Yeah. In a Zippy
In a Zippy
portion.
gel. It's like, Zippy gel. And then you
Yeah.
just die. So
Okay.
50% of people are now dying.
Oh dear.
Due to this, because the UN...
Is this the second one?
Yeah, this is the second one now.
Yeah.
Because of that, it's now been deemed that this is too much of a dangerous drug just to allow. So a blockade is put onto your country. An
Ooh.
actual naval blockade. Because it's not technically illegal for them to do that.
Wait, are we
'Cause
landlocked?
No, because if you're next to Central America, one side would be
Oh.
sea.
Alright.
But they just completely stop you from being able to transport anything anymore. Because technically, in your world,
I'm embargoed.
you're not even a country. You said it
Yeah.
was like a random wasteland that
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
like free. It's like the Wild West.
Yeah.
And thirdly, because of Mexico being able to see an opportunity,
Yeah.
they're starting to take some of your best criminal lords
Oh,
for their criminal lords, like other criminal lords throughout the world.
yeah.
But because of the trading embargo, they get them from Mexico because it's next to it.
Yeah.
They start taking your best ones.
Okay, so my
for them.
guys move
So you're
away.
losing away because they can see that, oh, this is going wrong.
Okay.
So you're not only, your drug is killing 50% of the people, which caused the UN to block you, but also you're losing some of your best guys.
Yeah, my guys are moving away.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the whole philosophy of your thing is like, do what you want as long as you pay for it.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, I'll start with the last one because the last one's really the easiest. These icons who I've created, who I've cultivated, who are the sort of, I've given them what they are. If they're going to leave me, then they're going to face my full wrath before any of them can leave the borders.
Yeah.
Done.
Are you going to kill them all?
My
or just make
people
an
are.
example?
My people are. Because my people made them, and my people can take them.
But what makes you think that people would want to do it?
Because I'm paying. No, these are, like I said, every sort of member of our council, member of our government has connections they
Okay.
can rely on. We're big baddies with a lot of money.
But what about if some of those good people are on your council?
No, they're not. We didn't create icons on our council. The council is sort of the epitome of brotherhood.
Okay.
They run the country and they're not going to leave it. And I guess if they do, then unless it's a majority, unless that's what you're implying, the other council members will have them sorted. But the icons we created, who I thought you were saying were moving over, they can't. If they choose to do that, we take them out. And we can recreate other icons. Like, that's what we do. People are pawns. So that's problem number one. All these naval units, oy vey, they got their guns pointed. Oh dear.
Yeah.
Turns out that actually a lot of the guns they use are sold from our country. Actually, a lot of military equipment.
Where did this come from?
We're number one for crime. If you want weapons, if you want
You
anything,
never mentioned weapons at once.
For me, crime, weapons is under that.
What do you mean? What do you mean? All of these governments are buying weapons from you. You're talking about America, the people who make all their own weapons.
Yeah, however, they learnt to make their stuff from us, and also, we've got the best. Basically, we've got the best people for making weapons, the best manufacturer. Because we're such a horrible crime place, we also have the best sort of defence. And what we do with all this naval unit stuff is, because they're outgunned, we actually extend a hand of sort of.
Wait.
And also, remember, we've got the supervillains. And the supervillains.
Yeah, but you have superheroes also in your country.
What, so they just cancel each other out?
I would say it's pretty equal to have
Okay.
supervillains and superheroes.
Okay, fine.
But I'm just saying, right, you're saying the combined forces of the world, of at least the UN,
Doesn't have as much
doesn't have
military power
anything
as we
on
do.
your tiny country.
I guess in that case, I mean, I'd say we still outgun them, but technically in terms of people, they have more. Maybe they have more sort of power against us. So instead, what we do is, military
Also,
forces.
you have to think, they don't technically need to beat you in a battle. They just need to beat you attritionally. Because your whole economy is based on crime.
Yeah, and we're
I don't think you have criminal farms.
Okay. Well, I guess we do a sort of guerrilla warfare type thing.
Yeah.
Because one thing that Echnel is renowned for is ingenuity. Like, we take care of problems. So anything that comes near, they'll be sort of stealthed out. Like a submarine will try and get us, but actually all the time one of the people working on the submarine was actually enlisted by us, or sort of someone had been kidnapped before it was already there. Or if a boat's coming in, we've actually got some sort of like speedboats sort of coming sort of off the edge of the ocean and sort of cutting them off. There's nothing that can get to us because it's all guerrilla warfare, and they can't cut the head off the snake because the snake doesn't have a head, or it's got several.
Or whenever they cut the head off the Hydra, another one grows.
Yes. So Eventually, I know it's the whole world, but at least America will resign, and then another country will resign, and then another country.
No, you can't say America will resign.
Yeah, they resigned in guerrilla warfare before.
It took them a very long time to do that.
And you know what? We're much better at guerrilla warfare than anyone.
And America's pretty bad when it comes to admitting to defeat.
I know. But because we're also a gracious country, we'll make it easier for them to admit defeat. We'll sweeten the deal. All right, we'll put them to a point. In fact, it could all be a front. We make stuff so.
How many people are in your country?
It's we've got a reasonable population, but what we do have is most of the specialists and experts in the world.
I need to know the population, Simon. Because if
it's
it's
quite
like
dense,
20,
it's quite dense. It's not 20. Just me and my dad. I'd say about 12 million. It's a dense place, and we've
Okay.
got a lot of space as well.
I'm guessing 12 million, mostly adults. Let's say 2 million children.
Maybe, yeah.
All right.
And we've got a lot of specialists. Like, we're quite high tech. We have evil scientists and stuff. We're running out of time, so I'll wrap this up quickly. So we eventually we wean off the sort of military warfare because it's a bit of a front. Their first few waves come in, and they just get subdued so easily by our guerrilla warfare. If they kept pressing,
they don't need to invade.
Yeah, I know, but
They
I mean,
can just carry on blockading.
yeah, but if we continue doing what we did, eventually they'd come in. I'll get to the blockade in a moment.
Well, no, not necessarily, because there's the famous war of Hannibal versus the Romans.
I don't know that.
Well, Hannibal invaded Rome, beat them quite badly, and then Rome took on the thing of just avoiding the army. And then he had to leave in the end because his army ran out of food, basically.
But modern warfare is actually rather different.
Okay, they still study him.
Okay, so basically what happens is that I've got that sorted.
Okay,
I've got enough guerrilla warfare to at least scare them, and and I'm quite a scary country as it is.
What do you do about the first point?
The embargo, so the sort of blocking off of me and the rest of the country. Well,
oh no, about the killing, the Zippy killing.
Oh,
That, like,
oh
the
yeah,
last
and also I'd been blocked off. I guess with that, we sort of
Because not everyone's going to be as careful with Zippy now. No one's going to be as liberal as Zippy.
Yeah, people are cutting it. So what we do to sort that is actually we decide to how do they do it normally in the real world?
I don't know. Just
We
say
do
something.
a couple cartel takeovers at the start. So you've got these cartels which are cutting it, and you know how when you've got a really good hacker, they actually get sort of bought by companies, or they work for companies.
Yes.
To make it better.
We do the same for the.
We
good
get the
cutters.
best cutters, right? We find out how they sell this incredibly awful Zippy, and using their know-how, we actually make Zippy harder to cut or harder to change and alter.
Yeah.
And it therefore becomes a more sort of fortified product.
Okay.
Yeah, does that?
All right.
Is that
Yeah,
cool?
that sounds fine.
And then we've got the blockades, and I believe the world is becoming a more connected place from the internet.
Yeah.
And a more connected place, sort of in terms of
So
information.
you set up a Twitter account.
Yes. Basically, we do a lot more sort of delivering, and people might come to us a lot more. There's already a hunger for Zippy. Eventually, because it's still getting out there, it's a global thing. People are still making it outside of Echnol, right? It remains popular, and people crave it so much that I think they'll come to Echnol, or we'll sort out something so that trade routes can be made through the walls.
All right. So.
Like, it'll be harder, but we'll get past.
Well, okay. Well, that's your country, everyone.
That's my horrible.
Simon defended his
this
position
never
well.
happened.
He defended his position very well.
We're gonna have to speed
through
the rest
everything
of our features.
Yeah.
So it's been a fun game.
Word
though.
corner.
I enjoyed it. We'll go to word corner first. Word corner is word corner is where I say a very special word of the week, and why it's cool and why I like it. Today's word, Jack, is chowder.
Why chowder?
Like clam chowder. Because
Why?
I like saying it. It's
that
quite
it?
infectious. It's like, clam chowder.
Oh.
Yeah?
Have you actually ever had chowder?
No, I've not. It's good.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Seattle clam chowder is very nice.
Well, on that note, everyone, try chowder
Go to
on
Seattle.
Jack's recommendation.
Go to
Might be
Seattle
nice.
and have the clam chowder. Seattle's very good for seafood.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I had a really nice sushi recently,
Yeah.
and I learned how to properly hold the sticks. Apparently
Chopsticks.
yeah, apparently you don't just stab it into it.
No, because that's against their actual culture. So-
Okay, clam chowder. That's our word of the week.
okay.
Now let's hear a bit of bee news.
B.
And then we'll do the last 10 minutes on our thing. Agony Aunt.
News.
Yep.
Bees, they thrive in cold climates.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What do they? So in winter they just act like.
Well, no, they hibernate in winter, but the best places where bees are kept are somewhat cold countries.
Okay, so could a bee feasibly survive in the Arctic?
Probably not. No,
Oh.
that's a bit much.
Okay, a
That's
bit
like
of
the
an
most extreme. That's like saying would bees be very good in the middle of the desert. But yeah, there you go. They do thrive quite. It's because
So a warm winter isn't that bad for a bee?
no.
Oh, okay.
It's just because it's more to do with their clock of hibernation around that time.
Okay. They want a bit
Because-
of a rest. Then.
because
I
they
get
can't-
that as well. Like after a long
Because
day,
they
I just want to
they
sleep.
gather honey for food and for those periods of time when they're out because
Yeah.
they eat the honey. If they stop that, then they'd be constantly, and also you don't get that many flowers
Okay.
in the winter. So there's not much point in gathering. So there you go,
Oh, that's
human
interesting.
beings.
That was bee news,
Bee
everyone.
news.
Back next week. We've got a complete fountain of facts.
I always
They
forget to
never
look up a
run out.
fact, and then I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to think of a fact that I knew 10 years ago or something.
It's all that sort of that schoolwork's come into use. All that
Yeah.
learning about bees that felt
The
irrelevant.
time I
back
had to
then.
do a poster of a bee.
Yeah. All right. So we're moving on
Speed
to
agony ant.
our speed agony aunt. We're moving on to the last feature where we
Agony
take
aunt.
the audience's problems and Jack, our resident agony aunt, tries to help out.
Yes.
Okay, so our first tweet is actually by someone quite famous,
Ooh.
by quite a cool person.
Mm-hmm.
The real Slim Shady tweets in,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and he says, "Hey Jack, working on my next song. Do you think the world is ready for experimental jazz pan flute?"
No.
No?
Jazz pan flute.
Experimental jazz pan flute.
What does the experimental mean?
It's
I like jazz and I like pan flute, but I don't
It's
know if I like the experiment.
true. Is the world ready? Do you think it
It's
can be
like-
done?
It's like how if you had a girlfriend who said, "Do you want to experiment with something?" and I'm like,
You're not. You're
I
not.
really do not know.
Your relationship with Slim Shady, you're just not ready to experiment yet. Is what
Yeah.
you're saying. Okay, and I think I can reflect with that. I think the rest of the world agrees. Shady, we're just not ready for that next stage in your career.
Yeah.
Give us time, okay? Self-destructive Dan texts in, "Dear Jack, I've been clean of paint sniffing for 3 weeks, but I reckon my bedroom needs a new coat of baby blue. It'll be okay for me to get some, right?"
Yeah, just get someone else to paint it.
Ah, that's quite a nice resolution. Everything
Yeah,
works
it's-
out.
I mean, they may be angry, but if you admit that you had like this weird paint sniffing problem, then
It's not weird. Some people sniff paint.
Yeah, they get losers.
You heard it here first. If you
And
do
then
sniff
sleep
paint,
in the living room until it's fully set and there's not the smell anymore.
Okay, cool. Self-destructive Dan. There you go. Or Stan, rather. Farnsworth the Brave. I'm concerned my doctor... sorry, he pigeoned in. I'm concerned my doctor isn't respecting my patient confidentiality agreement. What do I do, Jack?
How exactly do you know that?
It's a pigeon message.
Okay, I know.
Right?
All right.
I can't imagine
Make
us getting...
up-
I can't
make
imagine us
up-
getting another... Oh. We got... Oh, it's from Farnsworth the Brave. It's
Oh,
another...
There's not even a window in here.
He's heard gossip. He's heard sort of muffled bits of gossip in the hospital, and he's not. He might
He's
have
not
heard
sure
his
if it's
name.
about
He's
him.
not sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make up an ailment that you would know that would be specific to you, and then see if he would mention it. Like concentrate and see if they mention it. Like, you know, pick a really rare thing that not a lot of people get, and then you will know that it's about you.
Okay. So trap him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry, doctor. I had a rock up my bum.
Well, some people
That may
that is
need you to put
that's
a
not
rock
joke.
up your bum.
That's not. That's not a joke. Because some people do
That's
have
serious
that.
advice.
Some people suffer. Okay. All right. And now,
I don't know how it got up there. Anyway,
Dr. Ladd texts in.
what
You'll
is
find
that?
this funny, Jack.
Oh.
One of my patients has a rare condition where they pee strawberry milkshake. What a weirdo. Peace out.
Drink it.
You heard it, Dr. Ladd.
Strawberry milkshake's nice, man. If I peed strawberry milkshake, I'd drink it.
Well, some people, people sometimes
Some
get
people drink strawberry milkshake.
that, and some people, like in the middle of Sahara Desert, like you need sustenance. Last option, some drinkle, peep pee.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So
it's a survival technique.
But
I'm not
It's-
talking about
it's-
pee. I'm talking about.
you
strawberry
can consume
milkshake.
it. So if you peed strawberry milkshake,
Would you drink strawberry milkshake from?
I'd drink strawberry milkshake,
From
sure,
pee?
all the time.
Like someone peed it.
If someone else peed it,
If it would be better if you peed it?
well, yeah, because I trust myself better than someone else.
Okay.
If I
What
have
if they
to,
tried it first?
if I have to drink,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
something that's been exited that
Yeah.
way,
Mhm,
right?
Yeah.
I'd go with the most trustworthy exit I know, which is my own.
Okay. That's understandable. What if you watched them do it?
I'd have to keep an eye on their diet.
Yeah.
I'd have to
Has
know
nothing to
exactly
do
how
with
they've
that.
lived
It's
their
just a
life.
weird disease.
And it's all the same strawberry.
It's just strawberry milkshake.
It's always.
It's warm though. You'd have to
Then
put
it's
it in
not
the
really
fridge.
milkshake,
You'd
is
have to
it?
put it in the fridge.
Then it gets no. I wouldn't do it if that's the case, because then it gets weird. It's just like, why have you got so much strawberry milkshake in your fridge, Simon? Oh, don't worry, my mate pees it. It becomes weird when
Open a
it becomes
stall selling strawberry milkshake.
always a monetary gain for you, Zach. When you
Jack.
start keeping something that comes out of someone, that's when it becomes weird. All right, consuming it there and then, I might be able to bear with,
Okay,
because it's strawberry milkshake,
fine.
and that's my own
Would
shade.
you trust me?
Not if I have to keep it in the fridge. No.
Well, it'd be. What if I ate some ice cubes before?
Is that how it works? Is that how it works? If you did me the I can't think of the word. If you ate ice cubes for me just so I could have some of that strawberry milkshake, then I'd like that, Jack. Why? Can you?
I wish.
Yeah. Things got weird quickly, so we're going to move on to someone who's usually not weird at all. A regular tweeter, in fact.
Yeah.
Cool guy Humphrey.
Hello, cool guy Humphrey.
Jack, I'm hosting a murder mystery party, and someone's actually been killed. Everyone thinks it's just part of the act, and I don't want to ruin the atmosphere. Shall I just play along?
Oh. Yeah, just play along.
Yeah, what's the worst that could happen?
It's the British thing to do.
Yeah, stiff upper lip. I mean, people die all the time. Apparently, someone's always dying. Apparently, someone's always dead, right?
Oh.
Yeah. And dying.
I've gone
always
to a
dropping
murder
off.
mystery before.
Did someone actually
Catherine
die?
Goodsell's birthday party from Blanche.
Name rings a bell, but to be honest, you know.
Yeah, she's a girl.
We
all
she's
had
a
to dress
woman,
up.
that narrows it down.
Guess what I had to dress up as?
Were you Colonel Mustard?
No.
Were you
I was
Jack Martin Jones?
I was Sigmund Freud.
Oh, that would
I
have
had
been
to go
fun.
as Sigmund Freud.
He hated Nietzsche. This is
I
Nietzsche's
just kept
day.
making eyebrows as tell me about your mother.
Oh, Sigmund.
I was the only guy
I had to
there.
I had to read one of his books recently for the dissertation stuff.
Oh.
It's dense.
Yes.
All right, moving on from Cool Guy Humphrey, Johnny 63. Dear Jack,
Mm-hmm.
I'm an agony aunt myself, and I think you're stealing all the problems. I challenge you to an aunt off.
An aunt of. Does that involve our actual aunts or agony aunts?
Yeah, we might need more details, Johnny 63.
Yeah.
But luckily
By the way, I just won the aunt off.
Oh, okay. He faxed in, by the way. I doubt we're going to get another
Oh, it's stuck.
Oh, there we go. All right, this is another Johnny 63. The aunt off actually entails he and you. You've got big queues in front of you full of people with problems, and it's whoever finishes their queue first.
Yeah, okay. When are we doing it?
When and where?
I don't want another fact. I'm just turning the fax machine on.
You might send pigeon. I think we'll just have to sort of keep an ear out.
We'll find out by next
Yeah,
time.
yeah. Okay, thank you, Johnny, for texting. 3 minutes left. 3.5.
That was a nice speed bit.
Yeah. Daddy's Girl 9. Jack, I need your help.
Yo.
I've fallen in love with my teacher. I know it's wrong. What should I do? This happens to people. This is a common problem.
I've never had a crush on a teacher.
Yeah, neither have I. But it is something
I have a
people
bit of
suffer
a
from.
crush on a lecturer, but I just think that's because I like her as a
Yeah.
person. I don't
And
love her.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think the first step is to discern whether you actually have a crush or you just think they're cool. Because lecturers, by the way,
I've had a crush on a supervisor.
I don't know.
Well, when you go to a thing like a placement
Oh, okay.
and your supervisor, I had a crush on my woman supervisor.
Ooh,
She was like 2 years older than me, so
Oh,
it's
okay.
reasonable too. It's not like she was 50. Like my lecturer.
But I just want to make this
This is the
clear because
thing.
people don't know.
You don't have a chance.
People don't know. Lecturers can be cool. Like, first of all, discern whether you fancy them or actually just think they're a good person. Because lecturers can be cool. There's nothing wrong with actually being an expert in something because it just means
When
that
you think about it,
you're
if
interested.
you do the subject, if they're the lecturer of your
Yeah,
subject, and
you
you're
are more
interested
likely
in the
to-
subject,
yeah, yeah.
of course you're going to like them.
Okay,
a
so
lot
that's
of
the
time.
first step. And the second step, if you
Second step,
definitely
are they
think,
hot? And third, no, seriously, dude, are they hot?
and that's when agony aunt becomes agony poo.
Send me a picture.
All right. The second step actually was if you do actually have a crush on them, you just got to come to terms with the fact that no,
That you don't have a chance.
yeah, they're teaching you.
Deal.
Yeah,
Get drunk and cry.
that can be the answer to some people's problems,
It's
but
the
we
answer
don't
to all
recommend
my
it.
problems.
And on that very low note,
Goodbye, my children.
and on that very low note, we say thank you to Jack for his agony aunt skills. Afternoon Delight says goodbye to you.
Goodbye.
We hope you enjoyed the show. So long, farewell, or Wiedersehen, and I guess, yeah, good
Goodbye.
night. LIFEGOESON,
Money swag.
money swag. Night.
And so our weary heroes laid their heads to rest after a tiring day of radio. And as they drifted into a deep slumber, they knew that this was not the last day they shall do radio, and they will be back, always happy to bring comedy to the masses. Goodbye.